You're locked into Apple Music. One, you're listening to R&B Now. I am Nadeska right now, catching up with the beautiful Kelly Rowland now. She's getting ready to release her new EP called K on December 4th. And look, Kelly, you have a lot of experience at this point in music and film, just in entertainment period. So releasing a project is not new to you, but I'm sure with every new project, there's a different energy that goes into it. So how are you feeling right now?
I am feeling anxious. I'm feeling excited and nervous at the same time, if that makes any sense. But I feel like, I did another project like a while back with Red Bull, and that was just like, me actually playing around in the studio with producers, and we were so creative and we had a really good time. And I released that. And I think because it was like collaborative, I wasn't so nervous or as nervous as I am now, or as anxious or excited as I am now, because this one is just really on my own. And but I'm so proud and I'm so excited of where it is and what it sounds like and what I'm expressing and how I'm feeling, and just letting my fans and listeners tap into that. So yeah, it's really exciting. I'm really excited.
Well, I appreciate you being honest and sharing those very human emotions. I think to hear that a legend like you who has so much experience already under your belt can still get anxious makes, normal people like me feel pretty good. So that's good to hear. But the project definitely sounds great. And you mentioned like in the past, you've done a lot of collaborations and features before, but this project just seems to be Kelly, not so much with too many features. So how do you feel just about where you are musically in your career?
I feel like right now musically, I'm at a place to where, I feel like I've always been one to just want to try different things to see what happens. I'm just like that. Um, and when it comes to this project, I tapped outside of probably a circle or even like trends that I hear that are going on right now, with music that's out. And I said, I don't know if I want to do that, but I do want to try this. And it would be something really left. And I remember talking to some friends about it, and they were like, no, you should do this. This is definitely it. Because I played them one body of work, and then they're like, no, just it sounds like something else, So they're like, go that route. And I was like, I know, my gut wanted to go that route anyway. So they just confirmed what I already knew, which made me feel really good.
Okay, that's really good to hear, because what I like about the project is that each song has its different vibe because of the production. So I'm going to start with this one right now. Just, really upbeat, like disco inspired vibe. I love this song. I'm catching up with Kelly Rowland right now, talking about her new EP K. This one is called Crazy.
Hey.
So we're definitely going to get into some more songs, but exactly, that is exactly how this record makes me feel. Did you have fun producing a song like this? And how did you go through the beat selections for this project?
Oh my gosh. It's sitting down with my team when they played this record. I remember going, oh my God, it's just giving me Donna Summer vibes. And the whole record was giving me Donna Summer vibes with hip hop over it. I loved it. I felt like there was like a driving cadence to this record that just made me feel, that shit great. All of that just felt so good. I was like, oh no, I have to record this record. And I'm so happy that I did. And it's so funny because I see it, like you see where it starts to sprinkle. You know what I mean? And where people like it and when they like it and like what they post and which parts make them feel good. It's so different, the way music is expressed and received now, compared to 10, 20 years ago, and I've been in the music scene for that long. So it's really a trip to me to just feel and listen to how people are receiving music now. It's so cool.
That's so interesting that you say that, because I've been curious, because you've lived through these different eras where, I remember being younger and when your albums were dropping, it's like the physical copy was everything, right? You wanted to like go out and like listen in headphones at the store to like hear a preview, and then buying it was a whole process. And now everything is digital. Have you enjoyed that transition as an artist? Has it been challenging at all?
I think that it does take some getting used to when it's different. I think that when times change and when currents change, when the current changes, you find your way to stay in it, especially because I still love making music and I still love being in the studio. So you find your way in your space in it. That's what's more important, and is just making sure you still love making music. And I still love being in the studio. I still love making music.
Well, so, back to the EP then. I mean, you could tell that you still have fun doing this. So if we're going from a record like Crazy, which is the fun disco vibes, then we get to Hitman. When I turned it on, the first few seconds reminded me of like Fela Kuti. I felt like I was like transported back to one of his songs for a while. So the Afrobeats influence on that song is also cool. So why was that your choice for that song?
Actually, there's another song on the record that inspired this song. And when I was in the studio with Oak was like, "Oh my God, I love how alive this sounds and the horns and this and that." He was like, "Let's stay in that vibe." I said, "No problem." So he started playing his one of his favorite Fela Kuti songs, and I love Fela Kuti as well. And when he played this one, I was like, "Oh my God." Like the whole studio vibrated. I actually just posted something where we were in the studio conjuring it up. And as it was like happening, like in real time, it was like, just imagine like a glass bottle, and literally like it just keeps getting like colorful. You know what I mean? Like it just keeps getting filled and more filled with colors. And that's what happened. Like we kept adding layer on layer, and it was just covered us all up. It just made you feel so excited and so happy and so in the moment. And it's so urgent, this track. And I love it so much.
That's really, really amazing. The excitement in your face is everything right now as you talk about this music. And good to know that I wasn't crazy. I'm not always good at placing samples, but like the vibe was there immediately. So tell us about the video for Hitman. I know this is one that you and your team put a lot of work into.
I thought about the colors. I thought about the expression and the feeling of what Hitman is, and how sexy and sensual it is, but it still feels alive and full of color. And that just comes out on screen. And there's a lot of movement in here. It was the toughest thing to do because we're in COVID. And so shooting a video during COVID and having everybody away from each other, and then in a take, like being a little and getting away from each other is the wildest ever. So it was really crazy shooting visuals to this too. And of course, everybody was COVID tested, but it came out so alive. And that's I think my main word for this album is definitely it's alive. It's alive.
The final song that I love to talk to you about, if we're going the spectrum of the EP, is Flowers. The beat on this one, also different from the two previous songs that we just played, a lot more moody, a much more intense beat. Tell us about putting this record together.
Oh, Flowers is, I heard this record, and from the moment I heard it, it made me think about time. It made me think about people and how precious those two are. And I'll never forget having my son, and then 3 weeks later losing my mother. And it was so many things that I wanted to tell her, because it made me realize the importance of time and people, and not taking them for granted, and being able to give people their flowers while they're here, and tell them that you love them, and tell them that you appreciate them. And we are living in some really crazy times, and I think that it's important now to even call up on people and check up on them. You know what I mean? Just to let them know I'm thinking about you, or how you feeling today. And for if you're on the opposite side of that call, be honest about how you're feeling. You know what I mean? When you're talking to people, it's so important to be able to share your emotion, especially when you feel there's a space where you can. So I just always believe in giving people their flowers and telling them about their beauty inside and out. And this song definitely does that. It also makes me think about how many lives were lost, you know what I mean, in 2020, and hoping that, those families are comforted, and that there's, or in some sort of way, and that there was a moment where they were able to give somebody that they love, who they lost, their flowers.